Hi everyone, today I'll be talking about the anime industry, and this video will be directed to people who knows what anime is and to people who doesn't know what anime is, so let's start from there. So you might ask yourself, what's anime? And the first thing you think of is, oh, I know what that is, it's Tom and Jerry, or Donald Duck, or maybe The Simpsons. Well, you're wrong. What you thought of just then aren't anime, but cartoons which may look similar as they use the same animation technique. They can be computer animated or hand-drawn. And just because it's mostly hand-drawn and computer animated, it doesn't mean it's easy just because someone might be good at drawing anime characters or a background scene. It also goes through a long and complex process, starting with contacting the original author of the story, creating a storyboard which could take up to 3 weeks for a normal TV length episode, writing the script, etc. So to basically sum up what is anime, it's any animation that is primarily produced in Japan. People may get confused with cartoons since it's the abbreviated word for animation, so remember this, anime equals Japan. So there are a lot of people out there like me that enjoys anime, but there are some people who takes it to the next level and enjoy manga, light novels or visual novels, which in the end are anime related. Some people might think that if they're all anime related, what's the difference between them? Well, let's start with manga. To those who don't know what manga is, manga are basically comics produced in Japan. In manga, the author uses a combination of black and white pictures and text to communicate the story. So now you know what manga is. Light novels are the opposite. Light novels are a style of Japanese novel primarily targeting the young adult demographic. They're not as long as the average novel as they range from 40,000 to 50,000 words, which is usually around 200 pages depending on the book. They may sound like just a novel filled with pages of text which can get boring, but they do contain anime illustrations just to help the reader picture the event of the story. And finally, visual novels. Visual novels are an interactive video game. They mostly use anime style art as the graphics. It's a visual novel because the game's graphics usually takes up most of the screen, leaving only a quarter of the screen to display the dialogue for you to read. It's interactive because in certain parts of the visual novel you can choose how you want the game to progress, so at the end of the game you might end up in a happily ever after scenario, or maybe the complete opposite, which isn't something the player wants, right? It's like a choose your own adventure book, but more graphical in a lot of ways, if you know what I mean, to those visual novel players out there. So now you know what manga, light novels and visual novels are, I'm going to tell you the main reason people enjoy them. Earlier I showed you a chart with all the processes involved in the production of an anime. At the very top it said original author. An original author is someone who made up the story or idea. The stories or idea of an anime mostly come from manga, light novels or visual novels. A lot of anime out there are produced with the intention of covering only a certain number of volumes. So for example, if an anime only covers 5 out of 10 volumes of a manga with one season, then it stops being produced because the author hasn't ended the story yet or not enough sales. But the story is so good, people like me decide to pick up on a manga and read from there. Some animes are produced originally, which in my definition means an idea which isn't revealed to the public. So obviously they're not from either manga, light novels or visual novels. Therefore, the only way for the community to see how the story is going to turn out is to wait for the anime to air on TV. And of course, no one will know what happens next episode or whatever since it's original, right? We now know why people like me enjoy anime, and that's because of the fabulous story. Now I'll be talking about the various types or kinds of anime that are produced. Firstly, let's differentiate anime from cartoons. To those who think that anime and cartoons are the same, you are wrong on so many levels. A lot of people who don't watch anime think it's childish just like cartoons, maybe because it's how they've drawn and made. So the first thing you look for when you want to tell them apart are their visual styles. And if you still can't tell them apart, sorry, but you must be blind in some ways. The second thing are themes. Cartoons are generally made to make people laugh, like The Simpsons, whereas anime usually concentrates on stuff revolved around human emotion. Of course, this doesn't mean anime can't make you laugh. In fact, some animes out there are more hilarious than cartoons.
Ah, 会長。
こんなところで言ってしまうとは。若さか？
何言っちゃってんの？
味覚臭い！
スルメです。
いや、すまん！邪魔をした！
いや、勘違いですよ。それよりズボンまで濡れちゃって。
ぬれぐちゃぐちゃ！そこまで盛り上がっているなんて。ごめんね！
ちょっと待って！さっさと片付けよう。うわ、そういえばズボンも濡れてた。着替えるか。
And if you couldn't point that out, that genre was comedy. Well, let's move on. Sure, anime has the same genres as cartoons like action and adventure, but they also have specific demographical groups in Japan, and they are shonen, shoujo, seinen, josei, and kodomo, which means children's. If this is the first time you've heard those terms, then allow me to explain. Firstly, let's start with shonen. Whenever you hear shonen manga or shonen anime, it means it's marketed towards a male audience roughly aged 10 and up. A famous shonen anime would be Dragon Ball Z. Shoujo is the exact opposite of shonen, and if you can work that out, it'll be great, but I'll tell you anyway. Shoujo manga or shoujo anime is marketed towards a female audience between 10 and 18. A well-known shoujo anime would be Card Captor Sakura. Some people might look at this and say, what is she dressed up in? And since we're on track, let me explain Magical Girls, which is a subgenre of Japanese fantasy, which features young girls who use their magic for friendship, behavior, and achieving goals. According to Wikipedia, that is. So now we're up to seinen. Seinen is like shonen all grown up, so seinen is generally targeted between 18 and 30-year-old male audience. Some seinen mangas include Black Lagoon, Gantz, or Elfen Lied. Josei manga is a type of manga created mostly by women for late teenage and adult female audience, so it's like the feminine equivalent of seinen. A lot of genres in josei include comedy drama, romance, and slice of life. Some of you probably haven't heard slice of life as a genre before, but it's mostly used for anime and manga. Slice of life manga or anime involves a naturalistic representation of real life. A lot of slice of life stuff created by Japan is usually focused on school life as well, so count school as a genre. One kind of josei manga out there is Bunny Drop. Finally, we have kodomo, which means children, and are marketed towards a group of, oh, what do you know, children. The very first animes were related to such a group. A well-known children's manga and anime would be Doraemon, you know, that blue thingy. It's also the second longest anime in history at 1,787 episodes. You think that's a lot? Well, guess what? The longest anime ever is Saize-san, more than 6,900 episodes. Oh, and still in production since 1969. Well, that pretty much sums up all of the 5 groups. Now let's look at mecha, which is a pretty popular genre in Japan. We didn't see a lot of mecha stuff outside of Japan, do we? Like there's Transformers and the soon-to-be-released Pacific Rim, but then there's the Gundam franchise, in which most people should have heard of by now, and if you haven't, I don't know where you've been for the last few decades, but they've been animating a lot of series and films. They make it nearly every year, but if you haven't heard of Gundam or mecha, you most likely come across it one way or another. Oh, and then there's those special genres. Anyone heard of yaoi before? Well, I can sum that up in 2 words. Boys love. Wait, did I just hear that right? Yes, you did. It's when a boy and a boy get together and... Alright, that's all I'm gonna say, so the rest is up to your imagination. Who reads or watches this stuff, you ask? Well, let's just say Yao has an overwhelming number of female fans, and they love it as it features idolized homosexual male relationships. Yeah, women are unpredictable sometimes, but don't worry. There's Yuri, which is the exact opposite. Some guys might be hyped up for lesbian action, and yeah. Lastly, there's hentai. Yeah, I know, it's so cute, isn't it? Most people who don't watch anime think of hentai as, oh my god, cartoon porn! But that's not what hentai means. It means perversion. There's a difference, alright? So there's this anime called The Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat. Some people will think, look! Hentai! While others will be like, oh yeah, it's a good anime with romantic comedy, which is true. So a message to you all. Just seeing the word hentai in the title of an anime doesn't mean it's cartoon porn. Jeez. Well, that's all I have to say about anime. To those people out there who hasn't really involved themselves with anime before, I hope you remember the stuff I've taught you today. Thanks for watching this video, and now go watch anime.